What are you doing?
Hey, babe. Oh, I'm setting up for the podcast. Remember, I get to do the podcast today.
I don't remember.
No, I've got a special guest coming, but I just need you to kind of test out
the
sound.
Stuff set up?
Oh, I'm good with cords and like plugging stuff in. The buttons, you might have to walk me through it here in a minute, but just put the headphones on and just test to make sure the mic is perfect, and we'll see how it goes.
I'm impressed that you were able to even get all this set up.
I impress myself sometimes.
Let's see if the headphones are working. That'll be the key.
Can you hear me?
I can. Who are you recording?
So you can hear me.
I can hear you fine.
Okay, perfect. Welcome back to the podcast, guys. We have Ron, CMR, aka Cameraman Ron. Did you like that? Was that? Is that how you do it?
Is that what you're going to try to do?
You are my guest on the podcast today.
Wait, no. Wait, I'm on that side of the table for these. What do you do?
This is my good side. So if I'm hosting, then I have to be on the left side, correct?
So I'm your special guest.
You're always special to me.
Oh, okay. That's not what I saw coming at all. Like,
the viewers are gonna love it. We're gonna get the inside scoop. Cameraman Ron exposed.
This is okay. Just so you guys know, I had no idea that she did tell me earlier in the week that she had a special guest coming in. I did not know.
You didn't know it was going to be you?
I did not know it was going to be me. That was not.
That's I never can surprise you. That's really amazing.
You definitely surprise. I mean, I'm not really dressed for a podcast either.
Yes, you are. Oh, I am. I mean, this should have gave it away. You like it?
Raising my husband. All right. Well,
it's exhausting.
Let's start.
It's exhausting.
Let's see if you know how to start this. Let's see if you fail right off the bat.
How do you start a podcast?
I mean, you do what you think I would do. How about that?
Okay. Hey guys, and welcome back to the podcast.
You've already messed up because.
Do you not say hey guys?
No,
podcast.
Sarah, you can't.
Ooh, that's.
You
gotta have a good jam.
You gotta have an intro, man. I mean, I say it in every single podcast. If you don't play the intro, they don't even know we started.
Okay, so this is us starting. Like, this is happening.
This is it. I mean, this is your show, I guess. I was like, I hope you have something prepared because I have no notes. I have nothing. I had no clue you were planning to do
that. Was my plan
whatsoever.
We're putting you on the spot.
You kind of have put me on the spot.
I have. And I
don't have a drink. I haven't had coffee yet this morning.
I've got a drink we can share, but you may not like it. It's like a orange fizzy fizz.
Probably not gonna roll with that.
It's super good. It tastes like. Hang on. So my orange fizzy actually tastes like if Sunny Delight.
I gotta get I thought I was sitting down to test out equipment. I was not sitting down.
No, so are you sitting? Are you feeling it? Are you in the podcast?
I'm comfortable
group?
now. And normally I have my hat on backwards. Like, I don't know, my face.
Do you want to put your hat on backwards?
No, it's fine.
Does it make you feel gangster?
No. Makes me feel like I was from the 8 Mile. Isn't that a thing for you? Like, you like those guys from there in the 8 Mile?
It's
which,
fine.
mind you, is like, 14 hours from
Fenton,
not.
Where
it's Sarah
like,
grew up.
20, 30 miles, maybe, from the 8 Mile.
Oh, look, I was blown away at how many people we had when we shot that video from Owasso.
That was amazing.
There was actually Owasso is a very, very small town.
Y'all are close to my hood.
Yeah. Owasso is actually a very, very small town in Michigan. Mm-hmm. So the fact that you guys were like representing Owasso, I was like, okay,
that was pretty cool.
That was pretty wild.
Cool.
So,
I really liked it.
But it's not close to Detroit or the 8 Mile for that matter.
Oh, it's similar.
It's
in like proximity.
Y'all, you saw the dirt roads we were on, guys. It's not. I'm so uncomfortable.
I know,
right
it's
now.
so weird. You're like, I'm on the right side. What
I'm on
I
the right
do?
side. I don't know what to do with my hands. Normally, my board's over here with the left hand.
Well, now you have to work the board with your left hand because I don't know how to use it. So
you know what I have to say about that?
What?
Hang on. Oh, wait, we're still rolling the intro. Sorry, that's not what it is. If you don't know how to work the board, you get one of these.
I get one of these thumbs on a daily. It's fine.
That's very
it's
true.
fine.
You really do. That is
if
very,
I was
very
like
true.
a cartoon character, I would have those like noises and things all the time. I'd have stars falling out of like flying from my head. Like, it'd be great. I would kind of wish I was a cartoon
She really
character.
would. Like, if you guys. Oh my gosh. Okay, so you know the premise of the podcast.
Yeah. So like I ask you questions and then we just kind of go with the flow and
but we talk about like. Normally when I do it, again, this is your show. We can do whatever you want to do. But normally when I talk about it, I ask content creators about life off camera,
right?
Not necessarily on camera. So
no, I figured you're like an open book, so everybody kind of knows like
I really
a lot of your
like,
stuff that happens in life. Like they know you.
I feel like you're gonna have a hard
you're
time.
Like family.
I am your family.
You are my family.
I feel
like I'm gonna make out with this. This is weird. Like I feel like I'm super close to the mic.
Well, you don't have to be quite that close, but you can't be back in the back of the room. Yeah. So I feel like it's gonna be a tough. I hope you're very well prepared because I feel like it's gonna be tough for you to ask me stuff that they don't already know.
Okay.
Like, maybe you can. I don't know. It's just.
Well, let's start with that, Ron. Do you want me to keep up with the voice, or should I just like talk normal?
I think you should talk normal. Voice. Yeah, we don't need a sexy podcast voice from the PYT.
I think sexy? Thank you.
Everything you do is sexy. You know this.
I love you. Okay,
so you're the prettiest person that's ever hosted this podcast.
That's true.
By hands down, like not even a question.
I like it.
Yeah, I do too. I'm starting to settle in here. Like,
are you getting comfortable?
In all honesty, guys, like I don't know why I don't get uncomfortable very often, but I don't know if you guys realize this, but I prep for these for like.
Oh yeah, you've prepped.
I film once.
Like I don't even have a notebook or like anything with me. My phone's somewhere over there, so if I get stuck, like it's like
you're done. But so for me though, I prep for these like for a week ahead of time. So just to come in and sit down and just kind of at the mercy of what I don't know what we're going to talk about.
The mercy of the PYT.
Of the PYT, that's right. So I guess fire away, and I'll try to get as comfortable as possible as we move through this process today.
Since you are an open book, and we know quite a bit about what's happened in your life, within the past 5 to 10 years.
Golly, stop.
Did you just tell the host to stop?
Yeah. Y'all don't understand how bad. My wife... My wife. This is not a normal podcast host. This is my wife. She knows things about me that no one else knows.
That's why you're my special guest.
So it's like,
this could turn into a podcast or a roast. I don't even know.
I'm glad Melanie's not here. One of us would end up crying. It's guaranteed. Melanie will pull out those deep, dark emotions.
Go visit Melanie after
maybe we need to go sit down with Melanie and figure out our deepest, darkest secrets. All right.
Let's do this.
I'm just gonna listen.
Tell us something that the viewers definitely 100,000% does not know about you.
That's a cheap question.
That you've never done on camera.
That I've never done on camera. Like on the YouTube channel on camera?
Anywhere, like on camera. Yeah, I guess not on the YouTube channel or Facebook.
On our
this
channel.
This could be pre-Facebook.
On our channel, I've never sang.
That's true. You've never
I've done it once on Branch
But
channel.
You all know he sings.
Yeah,
like, everyone
they
knows
do, but it's not something I like publicly put out there, and I'm not very good at it, but I enjoy doing it. Golly, that's a tough question because I kind of put everything on camera. Like I'm not.
Right.
So
this could be pre-YouTube, pre-Facebook days. Like is there something big that's happened in your life?
Do you have something on mind that you're thinking about?
I've got a few things.
You're going to have to drop a hint because like I barely remember getting out of bed this morning.
Has to do with an instrument. Do they know you play an instrument have played an instrument?
I have played an instrument. I've actually played multiple instruments. So I was a band geek in high school, like 100%. I actually played the trumpet. And then in my junior, after my junior year going into my senior year, I was selected into the National Honor Band. Went to tour Europe for 8 weeks, something like that. I was over in Europe and did a worldwide tour over there. So it was actually pretty cool. I can actually tell people when you play that 2 truths and a lie game, I can say that I traveled the world as a musician, and I've actually done that.
That's pretty cool.
She's right. I've never played trumpet on camera. Nobody wants to hear that.
No. And you were only 17. That's crazy though. Like the fact that you went to Europe at 17.
There was only, and I was by myself. My mom was mortified.
Yeah.
I mean, it was.
I've heard those stories.
Yeah, it was. So I brought this paper home, and the way it worked, the initial process was all done based on letters of recommendation.
Right.
You had to go around to people. You had to find people that was willing to say nice things about you, essentially. And I was a pretty good kid. I mean, I didn't really cause trouble. So.
And wasn't she like, "Yeah, son, you can fill it out"? There's no way Necky's gonna make it. Yeah, son, go on and do it.
That's exactly what happened. So the first question that mom asked when I got that paper in, she said, "Well, how many people are applying?" And I'm like, and it said on there was like 18,000 or something like that. And she's like, "And how many are there taking?" I'm like, I think 200. And she's like, "Oh yeah, go ahead and fill it out. This is not a problem." So each stage she got progressively more stressed. So we did the letters of recommendation. Once we submitted those, like a couple weeks went by and I get a letter and they're like, "Hey, we want you to audition for us to see if you're qualified musically to do this." So went into the band room with the director and put a little piece together and we recorded it and sent it down to him. And mom's stress level was, the blues are up. I don't know if you guys can hear I hear the blues in my head.
It's like muffled, like whoa.
Yeah, it's crazy. So that roaring is the Blue Angels up flying. So mom got a little stressed when they asked me to send an audition tape. Then 2 weeks after that, I get another letter heightened. And they're like, "Hey, you've made it into the final selection process. We want to jump on a phone call with you, do a little interview, and then we'll make our final decision." At that point, my mom didn't want me to take the phone call. She was like, just don't do it. She's like, "I don't want you to be disappointed." I don't remember exactly what she said, but it was something that nature. And literally within 2 days after we did the phone call, I got a letter in the mail saying that I'd been selected. And I remember vividly, my mom and dad worked at Ledco, and I remember vividly taking it up there, and I was so excited. You know, like Sarah said, I think at the time I was selected, I was only 16. And I was so excited. I went up there and I told Mom, I'm like, oh my God, I got accepted. Like, this is awesome. And the first words out of her was like, you're not going to Europe. And I was,
this isn't happening.
Of course, my dad had to talk her down. He was like, look, we let him go through the process. He's been doing this for 6 months. And, but yeah, it was a really cool experience. Definitely one of those deals that you look back on, and it was life-changing to see the difference in cultures, and just like musically what it meant to the people over there compared to what it meant, you know, in the United States, the band is like,
right.
That's the geeks, the nerds in high school. And over there, it's like that. They're the big band stuff over there. They are. It's insane. Like, we realized really quickly when we got over there that like it was a big deal.
Oh, you were like signing autographs, and
we were.
You had posters made. Like,
yeah, it was crazy.
Legit.
And I still have some of that stuff laying around somewhere in the house, but that was a great time back. And like you said, when you're 16, 17 years old, traveling to Europe by yourself.
Yeah, that's amazing. So basically, not to cut you off, I married a guy who was in a band that traveled Europe in a band. That's kind of hot.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's
pretty cool.
Did.
Yeah.
She got the hot musician. I got the Walmart cashier. What? How did that happen exactly is what I want to know.
So speaking of the Walmart cashier, like, you stalked me.
I did not.
But you stalked me for 3 months.
I did not stalk you. Okay. I did not stalk you. You were a cashier at Walmart.
Yeah.
I was buying legitimate items to go through your line. So there was no stalking involved. I was there.
You did buy flowers for another woman.
I did. Actually, I did. 2 days before your birthday.
Yeah. Yes. Because I remember you saying, you know, these are for my friend's birthday. And I'm like, I have a birthday in 2 days. Like, you know, trying to be all like nonchalant. And
yeah, it did. And then maybe it worked because it wasn't very long. It wasn't very long after that you and I went on our first date. So actually, believe it or not, I was actually very, very shy and intimidated and did not do well with talking to girls all the way through high school. I don't want to like dwell too much.
It's hard to see you shy.
I don't want to dwell too much on the past, but I'm like, I'd been married. Like I had a previous marriage before Sarah. And even after that, like I just did not do well talking to girls. And here you got this cute redhead working at Walmart. And I'm like, yeah, I want to talk to her. So I was just going up there and buying random stuff, just literally anything to go through her line, and just never could get up the nerve to ask her for a number or ask her out or whatever. And finally one night I was like, I'm doing this. Like we had worked in the back all day. I'm like, I'm going home. I'm going to take a shower. And I'm going to go up there, and I don't care what happens. I'm going to ask this girl if I can call her. Get up there. She's not working.
I was not working.
I'm like, are you kidding me? So I go walking through the store and like, dang, I missed my shot. Even though I know she still works there, she's not there today. Go down the bread aisle, and there's Sarah and her mom shopping. She had already gotten off for the day, and they were up there actually shopping. So still didn't ask her for her number.
No.
But I did go home and call her. Now, if you're wondering how that works out, I actually worked part-time at a Little Caesars there in Shelbyville.
And we ordered a lot of pizza.
And her brother ordered a lot of pizza, and I knew who her brother was. And I just pulled her number off the computer and called her that night, and it was like, "Hey, I'm the creepy guy
this is
that comes
the
to
Walmart guy." Like that was my response. This is the Walmart guy.
She literally looked at me and she's like, "This is the Walmart guy," and I was like, "Oh." That's not what I wanted you to say. Like,
but you stepped up your game. Like the proposal, like our proposal was legit. Like I didn't really know it was happening. Kind of go through the, like, how'd you propose to me? Like,
yeah, okay. So this is going to be the love story of PYT and Ron, I guess is what we're going.
So let's go through stages. I might throw in some other stuff in there.
So yeah, I wanted it to be really special because, I mean, obviously she was a special lady and is.
No,
but
I'm joking.
Yeah.
I'm joking. You can continue.
I tell people all the time, because people that know us and know us in real life, and they'll say, do you regret your first marriage? And I don't. I really don't, if I'm being 100% real with you all, because, and this is not a knock on that person, but she did make me understand what a wife should and shouldn't be. And I think if I hadn't have had that in my life, but with us being as young as we were, I don't think I would have appreciated Sarah for what she was. She really is an amazing wife, an amazing mom. And that allowed me to really, I think you take that stuff for granted when you're younger. And being in the situation that I had been in. And again, I don't want to make it sound like I'm bashing anybody. I'm not. We both had our faults in my first marriage, so I'm not like pointing fingers or anything like that. I'm just stating there were things that went on in the first marriage that I saw really quickly was not right. And then I saw what Sarah brought to the table as a wife, and it was night and day difference. I mean, we lived together before we got married. I told her. I was like, because I will say this. Live with you first. Yeah, I will say this. I told Sarah because, and again, I don't want to get too into it, but it was like a light switch went off when I got married the first time. It was two totally different people from when we dated to when we moved in together. And I told Sarah, I'm like, hey, if this makes you run away, I'm like, I totally understand, but I need you to understand where I'm coming from. I won't marry you unless we live together first, because I'm not putting myself through that.
And honestly, we tell our boys that. Like, we honestly would prefer them to live with somebody first before they got married. And times are different. Like, I know back in the day, yeah, you probably, you didn't live with the person before you married them, but times are so different. You almost have to.
Yeah, I mean, people are so different from what you see on social media, especially today with social media. I mean, you see, you have to know
that real person.
Yeah, for sure. But anyways, back to the proposal. So I had this idea that I guess I just didn't want to make it quick for myself. So I actually started writing letters, and I put these little heart stickers on them. And she found these things everywhere.
And it said, "I know something you don't know," with a little red heart, white envelope. So if I didn't assume they were from him, that'd be really kind of creepy.
Yeah, because
if you think back, I'm like, it could be like a stalker. The stalker continues.
But the first one I gave you.
Yeah, the first one you gave me.
The first one I handed to her.
Had you not, I probably would have been a little concerned.
Yeah, and after the first one, I never gave her another one. She ended up with about 30 of those.
I found one at a store in a mall on a painting.
Yeah.
But each letter came with a scavenger, basically. A word in the envelope and a scavenger to find the next word.
Yeah.
So I had to piece the words together until finally it said.
And then I ended up doing it in our living room. Yeah. Like I got down on one knee right now in the living room one night. And that's where I wanted it to be. That Sarah and I had moved in together. We had made a home together at that point. And just once all the letters added up, I mean, I think she had kind of started to put it two together. She knew what was happening, but it was still a pretty
I just
cool
didn't know when or how.
It took a month. I mean, it took a full month. Your proposal lasted.
It was a while.
Yeah.
I was down though. It was fun.
Yeah, it was a
really
good time.
It
was not a bad proposal at all.
So, aside from us getting married and all that fun stuff, everybody knows that we've been married 20 years. So you stuck with me. You kept me.
Yeah,
I kept you. That's fair.
That's a feat all in itself to put up with me for 20 years.
So we know, you got started in the wedding industry, into your entertainment world. How did you get started? Some people know, some people don't. This is a really fun story.
Yeah, so I guess my entry into the entertainment world, so to speak, was I loved to do karaoke. Like literally, I mean, golly, from the time I was old enough to get into bars, me and my buddies, we were hitting karaoke bars a couple nights a week, and we would sing. And we just happened, I tell you who it was. It was Lucy Nethery.
Yep.
She called me one night, and she was like, hey, she's like, had a karaoke guy at the Moose Lodge. The Moose Lodge. You guys heard that right. And they're like, had a karaoke guy that canceled on us. Do you think there's any way you can come up here and run the board tonight? She's like, super simple. She's like, I know how much you love karaoke. She's like, would you be interested in come up here and do it? And I was like, yeah, I can probably hammer that out. So I went up there, ran karaoke that night, and did it a couple more times after that. Everything went fine, nothing extravagant or like mind blowing, but everything went well. And they had called me in a couple times. And I told Sarah, I was like, I think I'm going to buy some equipment. I'm going to start a karaoke business. And she's like, you're going to start a what?
And then I'm like, where? Where are you going to start?
Where are you going to start a karaoke business? I'm like, I'm just going to go around to local bars and see if they want to have karaoke. So I went to a place in Shelbyville, Kentucky called Bungalow Joe's. Joe Bishop's the owner. He still owns the one in Louisville. The one in Shelbyville's not there anymore. And I told him, I was like, hey, man, I want to come up here and I want to set up karaoke for you. And I'll do it for free. I was like, if you'll just let me come in and do it one night, I was like, I'll do it for free the first time just to see if it works for you. Joe later told me later on in our relationship, Joe and I are still great friends today. He said, he's like, I went home and told my wife, he's like, we're going to do karaoke in Shelbyville Friday night. He's like, but I'm not expecting much. He's like, because he offered to do it for free.
Must not be very good.
Yeah, he was like, must not be very good. So we went up there, and I'm going to tell you all right now, we put on a show.
Oh, yes. We had friends come. We made sure the house was packed.
It was a packed house. I had a couple ringers that I brought in. Chris Berkman was there.
Amazing singer and dancer.
Susie Lexo was there. I brought in a couple ringers that could really sing too, of friends of mine. And Joe called me the next day, and he was like, it took me about 30 minutes of your set to realize that you didn't do this for free because you weren't very good. He said, you did this for free because he said you knew after about an hour in this place that you was going to be able to name your own price, didn't you? I was like, that was the hope. So after that, we went for the next 4 years. We did karaoke, multiple places, but we were steady. We were mainstays at Bungalow Joe's in Shelbyville and Louisville. We did live trivia. And I guess I'd been DJing karaoke about a year, and I had girl come up to me at Bungalow Joe's one night, and she actually worked with my mom and dad previously at Ledco, and she's like, hey, I want you to DJ my wedding.
You're like,
and I was like,
a wedding.
I still Jennifer Waits. I mean, I still remember her vividly. And she said, I really want you to DJ my wedding. And I'm like, I'm like, I'm not really a wedding DJ. And she's like, well, I'd really like for you to do it. So we got everything worked out. I charged her next to nothing.
Yeah.
And we did her wedding, and there was about 4 people at that wedding who called, and they were like, hey, we want you to DJ our wedding. I'm like, guys, I'm not a wedding DJ. And this just kept going and going and going. And that first year we did 5 weddings. That I can't remember what year that was, but we ended up doing 5. The next year I DJ'd 53.
Yes. so you went from, no, I'm not a wedding DJ to, I'm a wedding DJ.
Yeah, it was like the light bulb went on. I was like, I guess
I'm a wedding DJ.
I guess I'm a wedding DJ because that's what we're doing now. And it became a very, very successful business for us. That we're very, very blessed to have that come along and be able to start our own business and work for ourselves.
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah, and we're still in the wedding industry. Well, we're slowly phasing out.
We're slowly. We actually phased out the Kentucky DJ portion. So you saw, he told you how that started, and that has actually came to an end in Kentucky.
Yeah. So I put a post on the Cameraman Ron page the other night. I really hadn't even thought about it until I got to that wedding, but it was the wildest thing because we sat down, or I sat down. Sarah wasn't there. Sarah was actually down. I was actually working with Gina at a wedding up there. And Gina was videoing, I was DJing, and I look around, and I kid you not, there's like 10 of our former couples there, whether we DJ'd for them or whether we videoed. It was
kind of like you were talking about. It was very nostalgic having.
It was because
all
it was
those
some
past
of our.
brides there.
It was some of our like much older brides like that had been married for 7-8 years.
Yeah.
All the way up to Emily Ann Zapata was there, which was a wedding we did 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, very.
So they were staggered out. So I took pictures with a bunch of the brides, and I put them on the Cameraman Ron page, and it was nostalgic because it really did feel. Almost like I put on there that it felt like I was wrapping up a book I've been writing for like 9 years. It was crazy. So it really was. It was that was a huge part of our life. And I said in the post, there will always be a piece of my heart in Kentucky. Florida's definitely home now, but we've had some amazing times and made some great memories up there in the wedding industry for sure.
So, like, I totally was not prepared. So I have some more questions. I promise I do. Where do you see yourself? We're going there. We're going there.
Taco Bell. If you're going to say in 30 minutes, Taco Bell. I wasn't going to say in the next
30 minutes.
Taco Bell.
Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? So 5 years from now, where do you, CMR, see yourself?
Well, I'll be with you. There's no question about that. You can't get rid of me that easy. So I don't, it's ever evolving, and it's easy to sit here and say, it's funny hearing you ask that question because obviously everybody that
I know some of the answer, but there may be some things that you haven't told me.
But everybody and what I'm getting at with that, everybody knows that I feel like Sarah and I are like this. Like you don't look at one of us without the other, and especially in the social media world. Very rarely, do we go somewhere. If she's by herself, where's Ron? If I'm by myself, where's PYT? So we're definitely looked at as a package deal, which I wanted it that way. That was one of my biggest concerns when we changed the name to the Cameraman Ron channel. I was like, no, I don't want to do that because I want you to stay involved, which you have. And obviously, you've built your own brand with the PYT Life stuff and all that. So it is funny to hear you ask me where I'm going to be in 5 years.
Like, hopefully with me,
because, it's kind of like whatever we decide to do together, we're going to do. And the reason it's tough to say is it's ever evolving.
It is.
Obviously, I think we will definitely still be in the entertainment industry. I still believe we'll be making these videos for you guys. But it is ever evolving because I'm going to tell you right now, if you'd have told me 2.5 years ago that we would be doing what we're doing today.
Yeah. We probably would have laughed at each other.
We did laugh.
We did.
Y'all, you all don't understand. Sarah and I used to, when we first started getting serious, we've had our YouTube channel for 6 years or something crazy like that.
But at the beginning, it's like, oh, we have a YouTube channel. We're just going to do it for fun. No one can make money or living off YouTube.
In the first 3 years, we probably only posted 4 videos.
Yeah.
And it was like,
Because we really didn't know how or what we were doing.
Yeah. Then
it was just like testing the
Florida,
waters.
We kind of got serious about it. I started making some more kayak fishing videos. I've never said this to you in person. I still don't think Sarah was sold.
At the beginning?
I don't, like, I was making these videos and she, she supported me.
I think it's because I knew the hard work that would have to be put into it to actually make it something.
Yeah. But I don't think she was sold at the beginning. Like, I don't think she had this, I can promise you this. There was not this time from the beginning where I was like, hey, I'm going to make YouTube videos. And she's like, that's awesome. This is going to blow up for us. Like, she never said that, which neither did I. And we would actually, like, when we actually seriously got really started where we were posting regularly, I'm like, how crazy would it be if we ever got a check from YouTube? Like, right. We laughed about that laying in bed one night. I was like, how crazy would it be if we actually got a check from YouTube? I was like, I don't care what. I was like, I don't care if it's $20.
You know what's really funny about that is, like, so when it came to the point where we finally got our first YouTube check, he's like, I don't think I'm going to cash it, like, because I want to keep it and frame it. And I'm sitting here thinking, you still want the money though, right? He's like, no, I'm not going to cash it. I'm like, dude, they have Snap Deposit now. You can keep your check.
Which turned out we didn't even get a check. And everything's done direct deposit.
Right.
I was like, I had this grand vision of like me opening my first envelope from Google, and there was a check in there, and it was like, that's not the way it worked. It
like you thought you would go back to like account. We were talking about cartoons, and you were going to open it, and like it would be like,
and the butterflies were going to come out, and the birds were going to sing. And that's not what happened.
I could have been singing for you, but
nobody needs that.
Nobody needs that in their life. Like, you have it more than you want in your life, but
no, I like to hear you sing. You don't have to be good at it for me to like it.
That's true, and I sing over random stuff. So
yes, she does.
Like super random. So we've talked about the past. We've talked about some things in the present as far as your entertainment industry and stuff.
I haven't talked about anything in the present, just the future.
The future?
You asked me what I'd be doing in 5 years.
We did some of the present stuff.
Oh, okay.
Maybe.
I'm sorry. I don't mean to argue with the host.
Are you arguing with me?
I am.
So, okay, let's stay in the present then. While we're here in the present.
Y'all see what I have to deal with on a day-to-day basis? Y'all are getting the real life stuff now.
This is awesome. So with you being in the entertainment, content creator industry, you're away from home a lot sometimes.
I am. Yeah, I mean, it's a double-edged sword because, this hair is driving
I was like, what is happening?
It's got one of your hairs is in the podcaster.
I'm like a dog. I shed like a dog.
It's like it's in there.
And I also swallow golf balls. I know when I took that drink earlier, I know they could hear me. Like, I feel bad. Like, as soon as I swallowed it, I was like,
okay, I got the hair.
You got my hair?
Yeah, what was your question?
Okay.
Sorry.
So you travel a lot. You're away from home. How does that make you feel when you're away from home? Does it take a toll on you?
Oh, Lord, now we're getting to the how does this make you feel moment.
How does this make you feel?
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, it is because, and I think that's the part that a lot of people don't see. You take, for the last 12 days before Monday, I was on the road. Didn't get to see Sarah, the boys. I did end up coming home a little bit early because of the whole tent fiasco, but ultimately
that was bittersweet. I was glad you got
to I mean, it was nice to go on and get home, but I mean, I was literally only here for a night. Got in that night and left the next morning to head back up to Kentucky, and that's just kind of what it takes to make it. Because I've said this before, I really feel like outdoor creation is one of the hardest on any of the platforms because there's so many things you can't control. You don't, I can't make the fish bite. I can't, there's so many things that are just kind of out of your control that you're counting on to make a video on a daily basis. And it's really, really tough to do that. And it does take its toll on you. It's a grind from a standpoint of I'll be gone. There's some mornings where I get out of bed at 4 o'clock. I go out to get the boat prepped. I'm on the water. And then, Sarah does not get up at 4 a.m. She does not wake up
I'm like, I love you, babe.
Yeah, if you guys see Sarah on the Mako at sunrise, I promise you, it was a chore to get her there. Yeah. You just understand she may look happy-go-lucky at that point, but I promise you.
Before the camera comes on, I'm probably like dead as a doorknob. Like,
mad?
I'm not.
Grumpy?
I'm not ever really mad. Grumpy, yes. I could go with grumpy.
I
don't get mad and angry. I get like grumpy sassy. Is that the same thing?
It is the same thing. Mad, yeah, that is the exact same thing.
I don't think it's
it is the exact same thing.
Okay, proceed.
But yeah, so but it does take it takes a toll on your body. You're constantly out there and you're on the boat, you're fishing, you're doing all these things that you're just trying to make content. You're away from Sarah and the kids. I mean, when I walked in here just now, you guys, I literally just dropped Chase off to his first day.
Don't make me cry.
First job. So
screen.
It was like, you don't, you don't want to miss those moments. And I feel like I have a good balance to where I don't. And I've said this forever. If you're in this industry and you don't have somebody sitting right here beside you like she is, that's 100% supportive, you're done.
It'd be very hard.
You're not going to make it, or it's gonna have an ill effect on your relationship. Because I can promise you guys, there's been times, and she can attest to this. One, I'm a stressor. Okay, I will tell you guys,
so much a stressor.
When I post a video, don't talk to me for an hour. You're wasting your time.
I can't even talk to him because it literally it's gone.
And but she knows that now. She knows that if I post a video, don't try to have an important conversation with me for the first hour that video's up, because I'm an analytics watcher, and for better or for worse, I don't post and ghost. You guys see that on there. I'm very involved in the comments section. I respond to you guys as much as I possibly can. But I do stress about it. If that video doesn't perform, and I know, I know if it's a video that should do well or shouldn't do well. I mean, there's sometimes we put videos together and I'm like, this will be okay.
Right.
Very rarely am I surprised in a good way. Most of the time it's like, I feel like a video should be doing better and I stress about it, and I'm sure I get grumpy and mad. But she knows, just don't even talk to me in the first hour video goes up, because I'm just going to stress over it. I mean, usually unwarranted, for the most part. But her support is unwavering, and it has been ever since we've been doing this. And what I mean by that is, there's been times where we would be laying in bed at night, and this is a true story. You can ask anybody around. We do all of our there's 2 times when PYT and I do most of our thinking and planning.
Oh, yes.
When we're driving in the car.
Yes. Those are big brainstorming
when we're on the road trips, that's where the biggest majority of our ideas
because you sit there and you've really got nothing on your mind.
Yeah. Other than just driving.
It's clear, and you're just driving, and then that's when things start popping in your mind, and you're like, oh, right.
90% of the time when we have ideas or new things pop up on the channels right after a road trip.
Yep.
Number 2 is when we're laying in bed.
Yep.
That's kind of our time together every day, where we kind of decompress. We talk about our day, good or bad, and we this is going to be hard for some of you guys to understand. Sarah and I don't fight.
No, we don't. We've had bickering here and there.
Yeah, for sure.
Not even, we don't bicker that often either.
We don't have knockdown. I could literally count on one hand the amount of knockdown drag out fights, and it's been I'm talking
and
2.
It wasn't even that bad.
And it wasn't even that bad.
It's not even.
But I mean, I'm talking where we actually exchanged words.
Right.
Literally maybe 2 times in 20 years, and that's the truth. That's not an exaggeration. So we don't have a lot of bad days with each other. Where that turns in, so we don't necessarily do the whole "don't go to bed angry" thing.
Right. I didn't silence my cell phone.
You didn't silence your phone. That is.
That's a podcast.
That's
fail.
That's podcast fail number 1.
Snap.
Just straight up didn't.
I'm sorry.
I mean, do you need to check it to make sure it's not landing? Or?
I mean, I probably should, but I've got stuff connected to me.
Dun, dun, dun,
dun. Do I just unplug it?
No, just take them off. What are you doing?
But they'll see helmet hair.
That's fine. You need to. So Sarah's going to take a break and go check on Landon to make sure that that's not him, because he is home by himself because Chase is at work. I can't believe you failed that hard.
That was a podcast and a mom fail, because I didn't have my phone next to me.
Yeah, which I mean, Landon's 12 now. He's fine.
Yeah, he's good.
And we don't.
I mean, he's taller than us. He could take anybody.
He could probably beat up more people than I could.
People would probably think he's a man in there anyway, so it's fine.
But as I was saying, so Sarah and I don't really have to worry about the whole "don't go to bed angry" thing. But one thing we do is don't go to bed with anything on your mind. So if I have something like processing, I'll always tell her when we lay down, hey, here's what I'm thinking. And there have been many times where we've gotten in bed and I was like, I'm going to go to South Florida tomorrow.
And then we're strategically making this happen.
And
as we're laying there in bed.
And she does. And she's so supportive. And there's never been once where I've told her, hey, I need to go to South Florida tomorrow to make a couple videos, that she hasn't been okay, let's work it out and figure out what we need to do. And we'll sit down and we'll figure out edits and all that kind of stuff. And I'll do whatever I need to do to make it happen that night or the first thing the next morning. And then it always works out. So that's what I mean when I say you have to have a support system, because there's a lot of times, there's a lot of swerving in this industry. And I think people don't account for that. Very rare. I don't know that I've ever had Other than when we went down and fished with, well, now, I mean, even that one was spur of the moment. When we fished with Darcy and Puddin'.
Yeah, that was spur of the moment pretty much.
Most of my trips to South Florida are spur of the moment. I don't do them very often. Where I think the trip we did this year that's been planned more than any other was out to Oklahoma with Daniel and DJ. But just because we knew we were going to be doing that conference and all that kind of stuff. So that was a lot of fun. But we don't usually plan trips ahead.
No, we don't.
Most of the time when you guys see me or both of us on the road, it's usually one of those deals where, hey, I feel like I need to do this tomorrow. And I don't know how to, I've told Sarah before, I don't know how to describe it. It's one of those things where it just comes and goes from a creative standpoint. And it's like, you need to do this week. And it's almost like a voice in your head that it's like, hey, I really think, and I mean, maybe it's me going crazy because I think about it so much, but it's, I get these feelings like, hey, these videos are going to do well. You're going to be able to be successful. And so, knock on wood, so far, we always have. We've done well with those videos, and we've been able to, make that stuff work out and be, beneficial to us. And that's, thanks to you guys, obviously, watching out there in TV land. So.
In the TV land.
Yeah.
So again, with that, like, how do you juggle? Still basically work a full-time job in the wedding industry, as well as working full-time as a content creator between YouTube and Facebook and other platforms. How do you juggle that?
You get you a wife who does it all.
I know. Like, I had that question planned, but then I was like, well, I mean, I could list it. But they kind of know, but they don't.
No, and that's the truth. I mean, and I've talked about this on the channel before. Sarah has taken on such a heavy workload, literally ever since we've been doing this. So just so to give you guys the rundown, when we first started videoing, Sarah was still working a public full-time job. I don't want to say real job because what we do is a real job. But
you're making money. It's a real job. Basically.
Exactly. Yeah. But she was still working 40 hours a week at a law office in Louisville. She was helping me video weddings. She was still editing. And then when we got serious about YouTube, you had left Isaac's at that point, I feel like.
I had left, because basically when we moved here is when I left Isaac. So
she left there
4 years ago, basically.
But used to, so the way this used to work, just so you guys understand, we would do a wedding. Obviously, both of us filmed the weddings. We would come home, we would drop the cards. It was like a tag team effort. Like, we would do all this stuff. Most of the editing I did. Completely. Now, pictures, she's always handled pictures. I've never done anything. I couldn't tell you how to edit a picture in Lightroom if you paid me to. I have no clue. But on the video side, I did 95% of the editing. I dropped the timelines. I went in and refined everything. Well, when we started getting serious about YouTube, and really when I started working with Brant and I was gone more, she took on the role of dropping timelines and doing, just way more stuff than one person really should do. Then I come in and I clean them up. So it is still a balancing act. Let's make no mistake. But because she was willing to take up so much of that load, it really it didn't change a ton for me, other than the fact that I was doing less on the editing side. I'm still working just as hard as I ever was, but I was doing less on the editing side and more on the filming side. Now, I edit all the YouTube videos. I don't ask her to do that. Even hers, when she wants me to, I edit her
there
videos.
Might be sun pop and girly stuff in there. Like, I might want to add a little more B-roll.
Speaking of which, the PY, I'm switching roles right now.
Oh, no, this is not my plan.
The PYT life movement has taken on.
It's become something pretty fun and amazing.
A life of its own. I mean, it's been cool to watch you grow into that role. So what's next for people? I think since you surprised me, I think now is just as good a time as any to tell the folks at home about what is coming next.
Like what?
I want you to say it right now. I want you to tell them what we're getting ready to do.
You want me to tell them what I'm about to do?
I want you to tell them what we're getting ready to do.
Is the cat going to jump out of the bag?
Right now in the middle of this table.
I'm starting my own channel.
She is.
I am.
So we're not going to tell you guys the name of it yet. It's not going to be. It's not going to be PYT Life because we want to make sure.
I will still continue that brand within the channel, but I feel like our channel or my channel will embrace everything.
Yep.
About us right now, and that's all I can tell you.
But you guys be watching. Sarah is starting her own channel here in the very, very near future, like probably next Tuesday.
Probably.
Because when you guys see this, we've got Daniel and him coming into town this weekend. Daniel and DJ will be down, so we'll be spending a little bit of time with them. And then, which luckily, for the first time for ever, I don't think you guys understand how good of a feeling this is. On the day we're shooting this video, I have got every YouTube video loaded.
Yes.
And ready to go for the rest of the month of October.
Dude, it's crazy. And we're super caught up on all of our wedding videos. and like photos and everything. Like I don't even know what to do with our life right now.
And it is, and it's because it is because we dialed back. Like we didn't do nearly as many weddings in July and August this year as we normally do.
And we knew we had to though.
Yes, it was
because it was getting crazy. Like our dance between the two of us, like I call it a dance. Like the way we work, it was becoming an insane dance. So we kind of had to slow it down a little bit.
Yeah, and I think what people don't realize is you guys like, and I mentioned this I think in a live or in a video. We had our 20th anniversary a couple weeks ago. Sarah and I are together.
Butter.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen that,
you didn't
see
that. You need to go back and check that out. It's hilarious. Sarah and I spend a lot of time together, but a lot of that time is work.
Yeah.
Like, and I know it's partially the same thing because we still enjoy each other's company, but like when I will say when we film YouTube videos together, that's a little bit different because it's always fun.
Yeah, that's like, super fun. I feel like that's not work. Like,
yeah, well, but when we go do a wedding, yes, we're together for 7 hours, but we're not seeing each other. I mean, she's off doing her video.
No, I'm off. Like I video. Like if I'm have a very creative mind. So if I see something, I'm gone. Like I'm gone. I'm creating something. If I see a vision that I want to happen, I'm gonna go make it happen.
Yeah, and I say that all the time, and I tell people because we went through this like early on phase in our business side of things on the wedding business where I was the face of RG1 Productions. When people thought of the company, they immediately associated with me, and we literally spent a whole year between Sarah, Megan, and Gina. I know you guys don't see Megan as much because she started doing her own photography stuff, which we are thrilled for her. We actually just did her wedding a couple weeks ago.
MMK photography.
Yeah. But we spent a whole year breaking this mantra of people wanted me there, whether it was video or on the DJ. Now on the DJ side,
actually, I can say this now because it's over and it's funny and they loved me and they loved what I produced for them. But I showed up at a wedding and the mother of the bride, literally said to my face, I feel like I'm getting the short end of the stick. I was expecting Ron to be here.
Yeah.
Talk about a smack in the face.
Yeah, for sure. And and my point with going to that is I can assure you. Now, I do a good job. I'm not saying that, but I can promise you Sarah and Gina are better videographers at a wedding than I am. 1,000,000%. They are 10 times more creative at a wedding than I am.
And what's crazy is when I started the videography, basically, like I wanted to add something creative, not just to the DJ business.
Yeah.
So it was my idea to start the videography, and like that was my baby. And I think it's funny that
and
because it was your name on it. It was
that guilt by association. It had nothing to do with the quality of work. It had everything to do with they saw the RG1 Productions. They thought of me. And I get that from a DJ side. They're hiring a personality.
Right.
But from a video standpoint, it doesn't matter. Like and I actually had a bride, or I can't remember if it was a bride or a mom. And she asked me, she was like, I told her, I think either Gina or Megan was videoing her wedding. She told me, she's like, I want you to tell me which videos on your website they shot.
Yeah.
And I said, I said, I want you to tell me. And she kind of looked at me weird. And she's like, well, I can't tell the difference. And I'm like, I think you just answered your own question.
Right.
I'm like, if you can't tell a difference, doesn't matter. And you guys have to understand, Megan and Gina have been with us pretty much since the beginning.
When we started taking on more weddings than what we could do ourselves,
the second year we
brought
videoing.
Megan on, and then we brought Gina on.
Yeah, and it's been, they have been all in with us ever since.
Yes.
And you can ask either one of them. I hate the word employee or boss or anything like that.
You work with us. We're team members.
And I will correct people at a wedding. Like, we'll be at a wedding. I'll be DJing. Like, oh, does the videographer work for you?
No.
Like, no. Like, the videographer works with me, but she doesn't work for me. I've always been big on that because we built a pretty special team.
We even have Paige now, here in Pensacola, Florida. We have
and Paige is
she's amazing. She's got another creative, crazy mind. I love it.
Yeah, and we've been so blessed, with the people who've stepped. I don't know. I've had one person that helped me DJ that didn't stick around. And that's it.
Yeah, that's
it. Everybody we've ever onboarded with the video side, they're here. They're still. I mean, I can call Megan today and be like, "Hey, do you want to work a wedding?" And if she doesn't have something scheduled, she's gonna be all over.
Oh, absolutely. We've literally become family. They're basically sisters.
Yeah, Megan and Gina are like our sisters.
Yes.
They really are. And it's always funny because Gina and I worked a wedding the other day. Gina and Sarah are actually friends from high school, so they've known each other a long, long time. But I get asked more time, and it's just because they're both redheads, and you have to understand that. Most of these people don't know us personally. They've only seen a picture here or there. And I get you and Gina both get called my wife more.
We do. It's
and
funny.
Sometimes like I don't even argue. Like, yeah, she's like, where's your wife?
And she's over there.
It'll be like the third time they've asked me, and I've told them that she's not my wife. So usually you get 2 times, and then after that, you're just gonna have to think.
You're like, she's over there with camera. It's fine.
That's pretty much it. Like literally, the coordinator asked me and this is no knock on the coordinator. It's just funny. She's like, so where's your wife? I was like, well, she's up there with the girls. I was like, but that's actually not my wife. And she's like, oh, okay. And she like walks off or whatever. And then it's like we get ready to do the ceremony. She walks up and she's like, so is your wife going to be down here? And I'm just like, yeah, she is. She's already down there filming. Just let's roll with that because you know what? Work wife rules. So there we go.
Dude, I need to get a work husband.
You do. You have tall, dark, and handsome.
That's true. I do. That's fine. That'll do.
I don't know why it's not. I mean, Sarah's always been involved in the process of bringing these people in. So it's not like I'm.
There's never any guys. Like I feel like I don't know. Like lately, there's more women that are interested in video and photography, and we even have more DJs that were women that wanted to get on board than men. So it's crazy.
It is.
Go ladies.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, it doesn't matter to me, but I mean, Sarah's always involved in the like who we bring in and whatnot.
And it's not like I wasn't looking. No, I'm joking.
Well, exactly. And what's crazy is though, so the funny story about Paige, when Paige came on board, Megan actually found Paige.
Megan. Yeah, we can actually thank Megan for that. She was up here to film a wedding down here. I'm directionally challenged.
You can't go any farther down over here than what we are.
That's true.
There's the water right there. So.
You'd end up in the water.
Yeah.
That's not a bad place to be.
No.
But Megan was down filming a wedding.
Sarah's on the struggle bus.
And she was at a boutique downtown and ran into Paige. Paige is like, hey, what are you ladies up to? And Megan told her she's going to film a wedding. And Paige is like, oh, that would be awesome. I'd love to do that. And she gave her our contact information, was like, they're always, want people to help. And
well, I mean, today we have a photo shoot with a subscriber tonight. But today we're actually going to talk to a young lady who is the sister of one of our boudoir models. Yeah,
and she's very interested in learning photography and videography. Yeah. She has a camera. It's kind of like how we started. We bought cameras and we're like, now what? How do we use these things?
It was the funniest thing ever because we went out and I spent like $8,000.
Yeah, we invested our DJ money into the photography business and we went out and got all this equipment and then we laid it down and we're like, now what?
Yeah, we videoed our first wedding. When I got back, I had like 6 hours of footage.
Yeah, we did our first 3 weddings for free because it was for brides that didn't have a videographer that you were already DJing, and just so that we can learn how to do it.
Had no clue how to edit.
No
clue how to edit. Got back and had all this footage, and I'm like, what have we done? Like, what? I didn't even know. I wonder
what the photographer was thinking back in the day. Those first 3 weddings.
Luckily, it was Megan because
most of them were Megan. Megan Tindo was the photographer, so she knew. She knew.
She was a friend of ours. So
we were very green.
Yeah, which is not a problem because I mean we definitely found our way. Yeah, I mean there's no question about that.
We were super confident though. Like I think if people didn't know like that we didn't know what we were doing, I don't think they really knew that we didn't know.
Because, I mean, obviously the product has gotten better. Yeah, I mean, for sure. I will tell you that it didn't take us but about.
Well, that's no different with YouTube. Our first couple of YouTube videos are way different than they are now.
Gosh, I mean, even a year.
Yeah.
Like I was kind of flipping back through and looking at a year ago when I first started working with Brant and Matthew and those guys, and just to see how far we've come just being on camera.
You just grow. Like there's so much growth when you do something you love and you can grow. Like it's just insane to see that growth.
Yeah, and I think the biggest mistake I made when I first started, obviously Sarah wasn't as involved in the beginning as I was. But I think I was trying to be somebody on camera that I wasn't. And I think that was really, I think the fake was showing
I think that's easy for people to do because they're like, okay, I can be be somebody else on camera. That's kind of like an outlet for them. But at the same time, like viewers know if it's fake. They know.
Literally, like I could show you guys a video. It was the funniest thing I've ever seen. Like I laugh every time. It was the first video I ever had that like really felt like it took off a little.
Right.
And it was when I put the trolling motor on the Native, and the video did really, really well. We only had like 600 subscribers, and I went back and I watched that because it pops up every now and then, and I'm like, "Welcome to Crossroads Media. My name is Ron, and today we're going to be putting a trolling motor on our 10.5-foot Titan." I don't remember who it's by.
I love it.
And I was just like, what in the world?
You're like, what is happening? I used to be scripty. I love to write scripts. I'm like, this is what we're going to talk about. Oh, my God, y'all. This is what I'm going to say. Like, and I couldn't do it. Like, I'm like.
And look at you now doing an hour-long podcast with not even any notes.
Because if I'm reading a script, Y'all, it's super fake. Like, you can tell that is not me.
Well, and it's
very robot-y, very
it is, and it comes across, especially on a platform like YouTube or Facebook or something like that. It really does come across as you're being fake. And I don't know that you're attempting to be fake. I think you're trying so hard to pronounce things right and to like make sure you don't stumble over your words. It took me a long time to figure out that it's okay to be like, crap, I don't know what the heck I'm saying right now.
And that's like me. I'm like, okay, it's okay. Like, I can sing if I want to. Like, and it's okay.
Yeah.
Like,
people want
I can say like stupid stuff, and it's okay.
People want that real and that raw, and when you give it to them, I mean, that's really, really what sets channels apart from channels that struggle to grow. I said it when I did the podcast with John a couple videos ago. Of course, we had the one with Brant last week, and then this one, but I told John, in the fishing world, so many times we get caught up in catching the hero fish, right? Like, you got to catch the hero fish to make a video.
I'm still waiting for my hero fish.
You caught a giant bull red out in the bay. Like, I don't know what more you want than that. Like, you almost beat my PB. I would love for you to catch one of those, but it'd probably pull you over the edge.
That's true.
But people watch. It doesn't matter what genre you're in. Doesn't matter whether you're in gaming, whether you're in outdoors, travel, finance, whatever genre or niche you're filming in for social media platforms. They're there for you.
Right.
Through and through, they are there because of your personality, because they like watching you, you're tolerable to them, whatever the case may be.
Well, that's the same for us. Like, there's some people I love to watch on YouTube.
No names.
I won't drop any names, but there's some people I cannot. Like, I can't. I've tried. I just can't. They don't do it for me.
Yeah. And I mean, and that's not a problem. And I mean, I've said that before. Like, I've told people, they're like, well, I can't watch you. And it's like, hey, don't then. I don't want anybody.
Like, I'm sure that I annoy the crap out of some people.
Yeah. Like, I can
be goofy and spazzy and fun at the same time.
A lot of people love that, and some people don't. Yeah. That's okay. There's another person out there doing a straight-laced podcast right now who is, more to your liking. I promise you that. But, there are plenty of people who like what we do, which we are so appreciative of because we enjoy the heck out of it. So it's like, we want to continue to do what we're doing. But it's letting your personality shine through on camera, being who you are, and not coming across.
Well, that's just like out in the world. Like, there's people you like, and there's people that you like less. I won't say that you don't like them. I love everybody.
I got people I don't like. I'll tell people I don't like them. I only like 8 people.
It's
no,
like,
I'm just joking.
Can I say, like, because we're in the wedding industry, like, I don't know if this would hurt anybody's feelings or not, but there's some brides and grooms that have like 12 people in their wedding, like 12 women on one side, 12 men on the other side. Dude, that's a lot of people. Like, I think we had 3 each. I don't know if I don't like 12 people. I don't have 12 people close enough to me that I would be like, you're in my wedding.
Yeah.
Like,
I think that's a fair statement. I mean, maybe more so now.
Now, maybe, yeah.
But I could sit here and list off the people that we would have at our wedding. Like, I guarantee I could name both of our sides. And I guarantee you
but
could
I guess some of those would be like sororities or something, like fraternities.
For sure.
Like,
I mean, and I get it. Like, I mean, we've been in that phase though. So used to, like, the status quo was 3 to 5. Right?
Yeah.
Like, you'd have 3 to 5 bridesmaids, groomsmen. That was it. And then 2 or 3 years ago, it started just like blowing up. And we started seeing, like, we did one wedding on the beach one time. There was 28 members of the bridal party.
Like, I get tickled. I'm like, so what if the groom has like these 12 to 14 people on their side, and the girl's like, I have only like 6 people. Can you rent a bridesmaid? Like, how does that work?
We have done weddings before where I was convinced that.
Oh, I've been convinced.
And here's why. Like, nobody has that many beautiful friends. Like,
they were gorgeous.
We've done weddings before where the bride and groom are just drop dead gorgeous, both of them, just beautiful people. And then you look down the line, and I kid you guys, it looks like a GQ magazine on the right and Vogue magazine on the left. I'm like, you're not going to tell me they didn't go out and hire all these models to be their groomsmen. And
they had to.
And here's my thing. I'm telling you right now, if me and Sarah ever get married again, I'm going to find my 5 ugliest friends.
Make me look good.
And I'm going to put them up there with me so I look like the best one. I don't understand going out and hiring or like getting people prettier than you to be in your wedding.
Right.
Like, don't do that. If it's your real family and friends, that's fine. But don't go out and get people prettier than you. Like, that's don't do that.
Nope.
Don't do that.
No, I feel like that's another show. Like, that might be another podcast.
I'm hoping you don't ever surprise me, like, because I'm not lying to you. For the first 5 minutes of this,
were you scared?
I was not scared. I was uncomfortable. Like,
so I have other questions, and maybe for another day.
No, we're fine. We got a couple minutes.
I don't even know.
We got to keep it under an hour, but we can do let's do the lightning round. I'll try to keep the answers. I'll try to keep the answers quick.
I don't know if I have a lightning round. Let's that like spat off like.
No, you just asked me the questions really you wanted to ask me, and I'll keep the answers short.
This will be a fun one. No, they might not know. Who's your favorite YouTuber out on YouTube now? That's not in like your circle of YouTube friends.
Oh, that's not in my circle of friends. Dang, that's close. We've got a lot of friends on the platform now. Flair. Definitely Flair.
Flair?
Yeah, for
I could
sure.
see that. Yeah.
Because I have talked to Andrew, but I would not consider him in my circle of friends, but I'd say definitely Flair.
Okay. If there's something that you could do on your channel that you have not done yet, what would it be? Or would that be like a...
No, that's a great question. Something I could do on the channel that I haven't done yet. What would it be? Oh, let's see. Come back to that one. Ask me the next question. I'm going to think about that one while we're moving here.
I stumped you.
You did.
What is your favorite video you've ever filmed and put on YouTube?
Hands down, the offshore trip with Bearded Brad.
That was a fun video. That was an amazing video, and I was so happy to be there for that one. Yeah, that was a really good one.
Not even a question. That day was effortless. The video was just...
And Eugene was there.
It was like that whole day was amazing. We were with subscribers. We were with Brad. You were there. That was hands down my favorite video we've ever made.
That was a lot of fun. Is there any videos that you regret making? Ooh.
Yeah, there's plenty of videos I regret making. I think the one... No, you know what? Actually, there's not.
Really?
I say yes. There's videos that I'm not happy with, but I don't regret making them because I truly believe every video we've ever made has made us better.
Yeah.
So
and we honestly have had intentions on making every one of those videos. Like there is has there been a video that you didn't intend on making, but you made it?
The Angry Karen video where they got in the fight at the flea market.
Well, that's true.
I had no intention of making a video
that you weren't even going to film that day, at all.
I had no clue, but when that happened, obviously you got to get a camera out and you got to film that. And the video ended up doing very well on Facebook.
And that's why we're so happy that phones now have amazing cameras on them.
For sure.
So if anything happens, you can just like whip it out. Like I'll never
your phone. You can whip your phone out.
Yeah, just whip your phone out.
Guys, don't listen to her. You can just whip it out. Anytime you want, just whip it out. No.
I'm making a shirt made that just whip it out.
Just your phone. That's all she's talking about, guys, is your phone. All right.
Calm myself.
You got 2 more questions.
Do you want to go back to the one or no?
Well, not yet.
You're scared.
I just don't know. I'm like still thinking about it. Actually, no, I'm not. If I could make videos about it would be gaming.
There you go. You've never made a gaming video.
And the only reason is like, this is a guilty pleasure. You guys are going to be blown. I love to play Farming Simulator. Like, I don't know why. Like, I have no clue, but I love playing Farming Simulator.
I think it's one of those, I don't know if you've like followed this thing on Instagram or stuff, but it's called Satisfying Funk.
Yeah.
Like that's just one of those satisfying things in life to watch.
It helps me unwind.
Like
it really does.
I couldn't play it, but I've literally sat there and I've stared at the screen.
Yeah.
Like, and gotten to a daze watching this little thing like plow a field. I'm like, that's why.
It's the most monotonous dumb game in the world, but I mean, that's my guilty pleasure. I wish I could make videos playing it.
Satisfying Funk.
Next question.
I like it. So my next question is, I think you're stumping me now.
Okay, good.
That's not a good thing. Do you have any questions for me before we wrap it up?
Who's your favorite, me or Eugene?
Oh, probably you.
But why did you even have to think about that?
It's definitely you.
Whatever.
I do. You're my favorite.
All right, you got to wrap it up.
The best. What is it? The greatest of all time? You're my goat.
I actually got called the goat a couple times in that cameraman Ron post about the wedding.
Yes.
They called me the wedding goat. I was like, heck yeah, I am.
So you want me to wrap this thing up?
It's time to wrap it up.
Like wrap it up? Yes. We finished the podcast.
You're not gonna rap. You're not gonna sing.
Dang it! I was gonna start. I thought you were dropping me a beat. Like I was gonna wrap it up.
I was not dropping you a beat. Here's what I can do for you, though.
Okay.
Hey guys! I love this. This is amazing. I'm so glad you joined us on this podcast.
Oh, that was phenomenal. This is awesome. I'm gonna cry. I knew that would get her tickled. Guys, thank you for joining us on the podcast.
Guys, I truly hope you enjoyed this one. Again, shout out to the PYT for stumping me because obviously we had no way of knowing that was going to happen today. enjoyed sitting down with you. Thanks for asking us some very personal questions today. But guys, we can't wait to see you on the next one. Hope you guys are enjoying these. Can't redo on the podcast. We upload these every Wednesday at 4:00. Again, we know podcasts aren't for everybody. If they're for you, we greatly appreciate you.
They're super fun to do.
Out. They are a lot of fun for us. We enjoy doing them. So we're going to continue doing them. But again, it's our Wednesday upload. If you don't like them, we don't want you to sit around and watch something you don't like. Just wait till Thursday, and there'll be another normal video out. Guys, can't wait to see y'all on the next one. Y'all take care, and we'll see you soon. Whatever's wrong with you is no small thing.